Yeah, they're showing that connective tissue. It's a conspiracy case, so they've got to be able to show that there's an agreement before, a priori, before the crime, and a substantive step towards the commission of that crime. And this is what this phone message is meant to show. It's meant to show that there was a conspiracy, there was an agreement, and these communications all go towards that particular situation, close to and in proximity of when the killing took place. So it fits perfectly within the narrative of the prosecution's evidence in the case. It'll be really, really interesting to me to see how she's going to go about cross-examining, or at least trying to get herself out of or away from this kind of evidence, because of course she's going to want to argue that quote could have been about anything.
Yeah, but you can't get away from the lie, right? Because when the shooting took place, she is not where she says she was. So I think that's a problem. But let's talk about it. What do you think she should or will be doing on the cross-examination of this witness? She's got to cross-examine him.
Well, I don't know. This is a tough witness to cross-examine, because like, even as a sophisticated and skilled attorney, where are you going to go when the objective evidence is pointing to the fact that these cell phone towers that have no motive to lie, this witness presumably, who maybe has a motive to lie because he's working for the prosecution, but these are very difficult and antiseptic witnesses to go after, Michael, in my opinion. I think you would agree. These are very technocratical people. They really don't have a horse in the race. They're basically taking science and they're basically saying this is irrefutably putting this phone in this particular, or this person in this particular location based upon the cell phone data. At least in the cases that I've had where we've used triangulation and cell phone data in order to be able to prove a case, the defense lawyers treaded very lightly. They tried to move away from it and argue other aspects, weaker aspects of the state's case, because if you really get deep into this, what is she going to do? Cross-examine these lying about what the towers are showing? I think that would be a mistake by her.
Yeah, and it's at the point now, Bob, where you can't really even attack the science itself, right? I mean, this stuff's pretty solid at this point. I would imagine, if she can attack him, and, and I think about what I might do is maybe some omissions, right? Sometimes when you look at these reports, you're only looking at things that help the conclusion that you want to come to. Maybe there's some other things that he might have looked at. That might be one way to attack it.
Yeah, I just don't find that on cell phone data-ish kind of cases. I do agree with you that there is cherry picking that goes on with regard to sometimes the content of what is found on phones, and then you look deeper into what's on the phone itself, and you find out that they omitted in their extraction report a ton of data. That's why a defense always hires an expert witness to make sure. I mean, I've had cases as a defense lawyer where the prosecution is showing pieces of the extraction report, but it turns out to be something completely different. But I don't think that's going to be the case here.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. All right, Bob, stand by.